Welcome to my Mythical Meta. My name is Travis, and I'm joined by the entire Mythical Meta crew. Benjamin is here.
Hello.
My good friend Derek.
Yep.
And my other good friend Randy.
Heyo.
The entire crew, all of the Metapods here in Hardening. How is everybody's week?
Long.
Almost over.
Miserable. Tired.
Miserable. What
Derek,
happened?
but your puppy has graduated. That's good.
We did have a big moment. My puppy did graduate from class.
Nice.
Was he able to use his paw to move the tassel from one side to the other?
No, he wasn't.
Aw.
He did not like wearing the hat. That was
Aw.
a whole fight.
Which dog gave the graduation speech?
Airbud, I think.
Oh, snap.
I think it was Airbud 2, but it could
You
have
got
been Airbud 3.
the Airbud 2?
Yeah.
Airbud Junior.
Wow, impressive. That's awesome.
It was a big deal. I mean, we were, this is the graduating class of 2024.
That's awesome. So, Derek, you said you had a bad week?
Oh, yeah, it's just work's been long.
Yeah.
That's too
Everybody
bad.
else?
It's been fine. Still busy. Stay busy, but pretty good.
Cool.
Yesterday was my daughter's birthday. I now have a preteen.
Dang.
Oh, no.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, wait, what?
She's 10.
She's 10.
I was going to say, is that 11 or 10? That's the same question.
I figure anything that starts with a 1 and is not a teenager is a preteen, right?
I figured anything younger than 13 would be a preteen, right?
Well, then
Not doing the same thing.
I mean, Marin's only 2, but she's a preteen.
Yeah, there you go.
No, she's pre-adolescent, which I don't know what that means either.
Y'all, today, she was really, really cute. She sat at the top of the stairs, and I sat at the bottom of the stairs. And she would throw the ball down, and then I would throw it back up. But, so she would either try to catch it, or it would bounce against the wall behind her and roll back down. And she just had a hoot laughing at the ball when I would throw it up, and then it would roll back down to me.
That's funny.
It was hysterical.
Kids they love the simplest things.
I know. I was like, man, how am I going to entertain this kid for 3 hours? I could have done that for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was fun hanging out with her today. We have a new swim class. Marin went up a level. She's now swimming at Junior 1.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
And she was the only kid in her class today. And
Awesome.
and she did a great job.
Cool. Good.
Randy, how about you?
Last weekend kind of sucked. I had a lot of car issues I had to deal with.
Ooh.
Dead battery. My one of my 2 radiator fans isn't spinning, so I had to spend money on buying a new radiator fan replacement, which is coming in this weekend. So I got to replace that. So it's like I had $1,000-something before my trip to Japan.
Ooh.
I've got $500 of bullcrap to deal with after my trip from Japan for car stuff.
Dang.
I
That's really
eventually
too
got to
bad.
get a new. I got to get a new radio, like touchscreen installed on the car because the old screen is mostly dead. Like I can still use the radio, because I have everything pretty much pre-programmed.
Yeah.
But like,
Just stop
If
using
I
the
wanna-
radio. Just,
well, sorry, Derek,
just
I don't
graduate-
have a new car.
just
I don't get a new car
graduate
every
to-
3 years.
You've got the aux cord. Just plug it in and listen to, music you actually want to listen to.
iPhones don't use the aux cord anymore.
Yeah, I don't have a. I do have an adapter cable now because I got that in Japan.
I mean, Randy,
But
your
I
car
needed-
doesn't have Bluetooth?
It does, but the screen is dead, so I can't sync up my phone with it. Because I unsynced it a while back. So, like, Nikki's phone is synced up, so she usually plays music when she's in the car.
Dang.
But if I'm in there, and I typically don't like the lag, I don't know. I'm just weird. But, so, I'm gonna have to buy a new screen. Because, like, anything that's done on that screen is just unusable, whatever. So I have to spend, like, $500 to get that replaced.
Dang.
I mean, I'll do it myself, but just the parts cost like $500.
That's
So
awful, man.
Fun.
That's too bad. I spent the last week in my downtime and my spare time building some Gunpla.
Nice.
Without us?
It's old ones that I had before the trip. Just
Okay.
some old HG high grade GMs that I got on sale from Gundam Kingdom.
Mhm.
They were like $7 a piece, and I'm doing it because I want to practice like more of those just fundamentals. So like the panel lining, the trimming at the gates, and trying to remove nubs, like just practicing some of those things. And then I wanted to practice with some decals, because some of these new suits come with decals that are very important, especially my PR ambassador for the Japan Pavilion Gundam has some very important decal work that I want to be sure that I can include. So I was practicing with some decals on my what's it called? My GM Type C. And my very first decals that went on the shield were awful. Just really, really, really bad.
Aw.
But then the decals that I put on the shoulder pads and the gun turned out really well. So yeah, I think I'm getting better, and I'm excited for next weekend.
So you got to make sure that those that for your exclusive Japan exclusive 7-Eleven themed Gundam that you picked up.
That's exactly right. That's
you got to make sure that those 7-Eleven logos hashtag not a sponsor of the show yet. 7-Eleven I Holdings, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Contact us. But yeah, that's still just I think the weirdest kit.
Yeah, my 7-Eleven Golden Barbatos. So yeah, that's an important decal set that I want to make sure that I can do correctly. I'm also practicing with my Gundam markers a little more.
Okay.
I do like those a lot as well. I have an old Barbatos Lupus Rex, and I used the gold markers on his claws, and that actually turned out really, really well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Do you have little files for getting the rest of the nubs off?
No, not yet. I think I'm going to pick some up this Friday.
Okay.
I think I'm going to pick some up tomorrow at work.
I have a little tool that I bought that was supposed to be used for 3D printing. But it's kind of like a slightly curved blade that you can just attach to a little handle that I have.
Oh.
And it's supposed to help get little spurs off of 3D prints.
Sure, yeah.
So I thought about bringing that just to see if maybe that would be useful.
I bet so. I bet it'd be good. And Derek, we can give you some introductory tips. We can show you some panel lining and how to clip out parts. We got a good model kit for you to build. I'm very excited for you to see it.
Cool.
Oh, that's right. He hasn't seen it, huh?
Yeah, Derek doesn't know what we got him.
Ooh, I'm glad I didn't say anything. Ooh, that would suck.
All right. So it's always great catching up with you guys. We have got a shout out this week to our patron, Becky.
Woo, Becky.
Becky.
All right.
Becky, thank you
Dexter.
so much for your patronage, for sticking with us through thick and thin on the show. We are so glad that you're here. And thank you, of course, to all of our listeners on all of our platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Through Spotify, we're on all of the major audio podcast platforms. So if you have got a friend and you want to share our show with a friend of yours or somebody in your gaming group, send them to our Spotify or YouTube or any of the major audio podcast platforms. If you want to become a patron, like Becky, you can go to patreon.com/mymythicalmeta, where we have got some great perks outlined for our patrons. Benjamin, what's our first perk?
Our first and my favorite perk is 20% off at eldoradogaming.com, where you can level up your gaming experience with metal dice, accessories, playmats, and other high-quality premium gaming accessories. You get 20% off coupon when you subscribe to our Patreon.
And Randy, what's the next perk?
As always, it is early and ad-free content. You will never have any ads or any interruptions other than ones from Eldorado Gaming on the Patreon audio.
You can just
Very
fast forward
good.
through those.
What'd you say, Derek?
You can just fast forward through those.
Yeah, exactly.
Barely
Easy.
anything.
Just skip 30.
And then you also receive access to the My Mythical Meta Discord server. This is where we chat every week. This is where we record our episodes and where we post updates, upcoming show announcements. It's looking like there's a show in Houston that we're going to try to get to in November. Hopefully we can sign up for that in time whenever they open their applications.
All right.
Yeah, and lastly, we've got a surprise perk from Derek.
It's a wholesome one this week. If you subscribe to the Patreon, you're going to put a smile on Travis's face. Wouldn't you like to do that?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Wouldn't you love to do that?
Yeah, I'd really love that. New subscribers, new followers, new patrons. Any indication that people have shared our podcast would be great for me. Any sign of life in the analytics would be awesome.
Can I just say that our Patreon perks have really gone downhill from the Necronomicon and meeting on Mount Fuji?
Oh my god, I forgot about that. What if someone was up there and we didn't go?
Someone's just waiting there still. It's a skeleton up there holding up their iPhone, listening to my Mythical Meta.
They're back in the US already? Oh, darn.
Oh, man. You are in for an incredible show tonight. It is the Season 2 finale. We actually have a bit longer season this time than Season 1, and we are going to finish off this season with an absolute storm. We said the takes were getting milder last week for Derek's. Have we got a late summer heat wave for you from Randy? Sorry, Derek.
Y'all really overselling this. They're like, wow, I can't wait. And then it's going to be like the most mid stuff. Like, okay.
I mean, a nice little simmer.
I don't know. I think it's scalding. I think it's a piping hot take. Randy, take it away.
All right. I feel like in tabletop games, especially like D&D, that if there's an alignment system, I don't think that the chaotic alignment should be allowed for 99% of groups and players. Unless that the person has gone to the DM and has gotten explicit permission. Basically, the chaotic alignment is like a philosopher's stone. Those who want it to use it don't deserve to find it. Kind of a deal, okay? I'm kind of taking that from Derek a little bit in some offline chat we had. But yeah, it's like it just gives people, I guess, like a state of mind that they think that they can just do whatever they want. And haha, I'm so wacky right now. And it's like, no, you're just...
Because I can explain it away and say, well, I'm chaotic.
Yeah,
it's like introverts saying I need to recharge. Everybody just allows it.
Throwback.
Everybody just allows it because it's understood.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It feels lazy, I think, is what I was thinking about earlier. Is saying that, like, oh, I'm chaotic good or neutral evil, or, you know, I'm not going to help because that's funny to me, or I'm going to do something crazy because it feels super lazy, like, and kind of a cop-out for, like, actually role-playing a character that's more than 2 dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And like Derek said, most of the time people who want that thrill, I guess, don't really know how to use it very well, and it just feels very hollow, I guess. I don't know. I've read so many stories of just people who are just kind of, you know, pardon my French.
Don't pardon his French. Say what you mean.
I'm gonna bleep his French.
Okay, but yeah,
unbleep my jerks. German.
Yeah, it just, you know, it feels like they just want to be the, like, special little star of their own little show and be, like, the main character of this wacky thing that is their story. But it's like you're not really doing anything productive for the group, for yourself, for the story. You know, you're just, oh, I'm gonna go steal this and kill this person and ha ha ha, like, I'm so edgy and funny.
Or I'm gonna bash the door down.
Yeah, it's like, but we literally just knocked. Like, give them a second to answer the door before you break in the door to the guard room.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, I'm chaotic. I'm you know, I got to do things my own way, but it's for the good of the people. Like, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
So, I just don't think it should be wielded by most people.
Is it just cringe?
It is pretty cringe.
It's just somebody saying that I'm going to do something my way, no matter how it affects other people.
Yeah,
or the other players, more specifically.
The other players, how it affects the story, the DM. Yeah, the DM will usually try to, like, work with it, but I mean, I feel like if I had to deal with something like that would get old super fast. I mean, like I said, even just reading on, like, Reddit and just, like, other YouTube videos that kind of talk about these kind of people, like, just hearing about it sounds exhausting. I just don't know if I could deal with someone, you know. Thankfully, I usually play with very close friends, and I don't have that kind of an issue. But yeah, I would pretty quickly if it was me, I feel like I would pretty quickly talk to the person, and then if they didn't want to chill out, then it's like, you know what, maybe this isn't the right group for you. And just move on without them.
So have you ever played a game with a chaotic character in it?
I don't feel like I have. I guess I've just like heard and read like enough horror stories that it just doesn't feel like it's a good time for anyone.
When I made Rakasha, he was a chaotic neutral character.
I mean, I don't know if I would even really call him chaotic.
I was literally about to say, do you think he actually acted chaotic in the things he did, though? He worked with the team. He followed.
I think he was neutral good.
He followed the plan. He helped us take down the cult.
Yeah, I meant he was chaotic neutral from like an actual like mechanical standpoint. Like he did not work with the law and actively tried to undermine it.
Yeah. Well, so what do y'all think chaotic means? Let's define our terms here, because I'm wondering if, because chaotic doesn't mean random, right?
That's how a lot of people like to play it.
Right.
They like to play it as like, I'm not even going to think about what my character does.
They see Joker or the Deadpool, and I was like, I want to be that character in this game.
But see, Joker,
that's what they're reading.
Right. And I don't know that Joker is.
I don't think he's chaotic.
I don't think he's chaotic. I think he's.
You don't think he's chaotic evil?
No, I think he's neutral evil.
You guys have no idea what you're talking about. Here's the real hot take. Benjamin thinks that the Joker is chaotic neutral.
No, I don't think that he's chaotic because
I think he's neutral evil.
I agree with Benjamin. I think he's evil, but like I think he wants to pretend to be more chaotic than he is because that's more frightening to see someone unhinged and you don't know how to anticipate them.
The Joker hasn't done a good thing in his life to justify being normal.
No, we're not saying he's good.
No one said he's good.
We're saying
I'm saying like
evil.
To be neutral, you can't always do bad stuff, and he always does bad stuff.
No. There's lawful evil, neutral evil, and chaotic evil.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying he's neutral evil, not okay. I got you.
Yeah, not true neutral or chaotic neutral.
I still think he's chaotic evil.
Well, because chaotic means that you don't live by a rule system, that you're rebellious or individualistic or whatever. You do go with your feelings. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that your feelings are random, but you see, so like a chaotic good person is the type of person who, when they're walking down the street and they see a homeless person with a sign, goes and just gives them whatever money's in their pocket. Whereas a lawful good person might be like, okay, I see that person, I better go volunteer at a homeless shelter or set up a foundation or
I own a business. I'll try to get this person a job myself.
Exactly. And so on the evil side, the chaotic evil is like your trickster, your person who just wants to see people miserable for misery's sake, right? And your lawful evil is of course the systematic, the CEO of Nestle or the
hanging judge.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone in U.S. politics,
basically.
Got him.
And whereas neutral kind of is this balance system. Someone who they don't just do what they feel, and they don't just follow an order, but instead they're more seeking kind of a balance around their other alignment. So an evil person is just seeking general evilness, not according to a system necessarily. They're a bit more selfish, but not flighty. They're orderly, but not according to a specific code, right? And I think that's where the Joker would fall. Is he appears chaotic, but he's actually systematically evil, right? He's almost lawful, but I wouldn't go that far because he doesn't.
I disagree. He kills because he loves causing and sowing misery.
Well, that's what makes him evil. But like when you consider his plans, right? He's not just running around with a gun shooting people randomly or whatever. He's setting up elaborate schemes to.
Yeah, I think you could have schemes within chaotic evil. I think a chaotic person could still orchestrate a scheme to do like something benign or something, like something silly.
I agree, but I think Joker's not acting alone either. He's not individualistic enough, right? He has an entire organization behind him to create these elaborate schemes. I think he gives people their cut, and he burns his own cut or whatever, but he's doing the.
I don't think he even gives like his own people cut. I think they're just mentally insane gang members who like to hang out and they feel empowered, like being part of like the clown boss or whatever.
I guess it depends on which.
I don't think I don't think they're so much mobsters. They're not shaking people down. They're going out and they're like bashing cars and setting buildings on fire and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Benjamin's kind of right though, where it also depends on which version of the Joker.
That's true. That's true.
Heath Ledger Joker was more, I'm abusing the mentally ill, who are also like they're also already criminals, but they're also crazy. I'm just gonna take advantage of them. But then you had other Jokers that I feel like maybe Jack Nicholson's Joker was a bit more organized. He had a crew. They were robbing banks.
Yeah, he was a mobster for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have like
Suicide Squad.
I was gonna say Mark Hamill's.
Oh right,
Joker. I feel like he had chaotic moments of like laughter whenever he got the joke off or whatever. But I mean, he felt too collected to be chaotic.
They always feel too collected to me.
Planned. He had a plan. He had a great backup plan for whenever Batman showed up to ruin his fun. He always had a way to get away, you know, or not always, but typically had a way to like, well, my fun is over. So guess what? There's a giant bomb that now you got to go defuse while I run away. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
You know.
To me, a chaotic... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I was going to say the same thing. Is chaotic is almost not always planless, but if they have a plan, it's a very simple plan. And I think most Jokers are too well organized.
Do you ever feel like breaking down? Sorry, Randy said simple plan.
I was waiting for it.
I'm not buying it, and nothing y'all say is gonna change my opinion.
You know, and that's fine. That's why it's an opinion.
And when this episode comes out, people will say he's
comments.
obviously chaotic evil, and I'll be vindicated.
Please
then.
get in the comments.
Yeah.
Well,
please give me some engagement.
So this is the thing, because people play chaotic evil the way that Joker appears instead of the way Joker is, or chaotic good or chaotic neutral for that matter. People who play chaotic, they're like, ooh, I love the idea of the guy who's just running around doing whatever he wants, making people crazy, setting, you know, and they play it because they want to be the persona of Joker, not the actual
and the chaotic good people want to play the persona of Robin Hood. This guy who...
Robin Hood is not chaotic good either.
The persona is what I said.
I
used the exact same framework that you did.
Sure, okay, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the persona of Robin Hood is someone who goes against law. Yes. So if the alignment chart is presented as law versus chaos, and people say against law is chaos, then that's the one they're going to put on their character sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that the chaotic good character is the individualist who you know he's the rebel without a cause, but with a kind heart and you know sticks up. It's the kid who kind of the loner who sticks up to bullies when they see somebody being picked on, but then they beat up the person and then go on their way, and they're like, you know, pay it forward, kid, and then they move on, and then they give to the next person, and then they. You know, there's no rhyme or reason to the good they're doing. They're just out there doing good when they feel like it.
What do you consider a character like Punisher?
I don't
chaotic
know.
Neutral.
I don't know much about Punisher.
You think it's chaotic neutral?
That's what I think it is. I think he'll work with the law when he can, and then as soon as the law fails him, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go shoot this guy in the head. And you know, whether that guy, you know, is some kind of big Bernie Madoff type of guy, or he's some guy that, you know, defrauded someone for, you know, $100, something like that. Not that severe, but I feel like...
Because, I mean, I guess in my mind, that's two different types of Robin Hoods. Robin Hood is a guy who wants to steal from the rich, take from the poor, dismantle the corporate structure or whatever.
Yeah, but Robin Hood has a strict moral code. Robin Hood is almost lawful good. He just isn't... He's not lawful in that he follows the law. He's lawful in that he follows a very strict code and will not break it.
That's true. Laws are changing from place to place, so you can't say like law is absolute, I guess. But I think I agree. Like his personal moral law is good.
I feel like good. Lawful means like you're willing to work within the system. Like you'll face a trial of your peers. You'll work within like laws, you know, stuff like that. And I feel like if you don't work within the system, or if you do sometimes, you're either neutral or chaotic.
So maybe Robin Hood is neutral good.
I guess, because I mean he was within the old system, right? He was a nobleman. And he kind of maintained that when he set up his merry men. There's a hierarchy and a structure, and they plan and coordinate attacks and robberies together. And then I guess neutral good is probably where I would put Robin Hood, because he does sow chaos when he goes and ambushes, whatever, and then when he gives to the poor, it's not as part of a foundation or whatever, it's just whoever needs it at the time. But he's not chaotic, he's not just randomly doing stuff. It is calculated, and it is according to a strict moral code. So I'd say he's one of those balanced characters that I would put at neutral.
Yeah, so maybe, alright, so if we're saying that, like, if Robin Hood is neutral good because he's not lawful good because he's technically breaking the law, but he's doing it for a good reason, and he has like a code or a organization that he's working within, so we're saying that is the neutral good.
I still think he's
Joker
good.
Is on. I feel like Joker is on the other end of that. He has an organization that he's like leading up. He has plans. He's working outside of the law, against the law, but he's doing it for purely selfish and evil reasons. So, like, Robin Hood and Joker are both neutral, but one's good and one's evil. Does that make sense?
I mean, obviously, alignment is something that's going to be interpreted, 1,000 different ways. I do want to get back to Randy's core argument, is that chaotic alignment...
chaotic evil or not?
No, that was Benjamin's hot take, and this is Randy's episode. That the chaotic alignment shouldn't be allowed in most groups. My thought is, is that it? Does the chaotic alignment work in a group? Does it work in an adventuring party? We both, you guys, throughout our discussion just now, kind of said that the Joker and Robin Hood are both neutral. Now, of course, there's the argument that they could be chaotic in a different version or in a different world. But if those characters were... Or in reality. Okay, Derek. But if someone wanted to play that character in a Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game at the table, should they play it chaotically, or should they play it lawfully or neutrally?
I think
I think that's where Randy's hot take comes in. Yeah. The chaotic version of those characters does not play well with others.
Can't be relied on.
Yeah, they're not trustworthy. They can't be relied on. They're flighty. They're going to go with their own impulses, but they're unpredictable. Now, the lawful version of those characters could work in an adventuring party. They will do their part and play their role with everyone else at the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? I have a perfect example of chaotic good that Derek's going to hate that perfectly demonstrates
this
why...
This is about to be the most lawful evil character I've ever heard. Go ahead.
No, this is a chaotic good character that does not work generally as a good member of a party. And that is Batman.
Okay.
Batman.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Batman's chaotic good.
Okay, he's chaotic good. He works alone. If other people, when he joins the Justice League, he still goes off and works alone. He sometimes works against the Justice League because he doesn't trust them. If they have a plan, if it's not his plan, he'll do his own thing. He is not a good teammate, and he will sometimes sabotage the rest of the group because of his version of good doesn't match up what they want to do. He is not like if we were playing an Adventure League type. Or, why am I saying Adventure League? Justice League style game, and someone wanted to be Batman, and played it in a chaotic good way, then he's going to be doing his own thing and not a good member of the party, I think. And so I think that's a great example of how chaotic doesn't work, regardless of their evil, neutral, good alignment. They just, if the team has a plan, and you're playing a chaotic... Or, in fact, if the team has a hierarchy or an organization at all, and somebody wants to play it chaotically, they're going to go against the group some amount of time. They're going to want to be on their own or do it their way some amount of time. They're going to screw things up. Now, that can be great if the team is on board and understands it as a role play opportunity. But if the team is trying to, if they're mission oriented, it's not going to work. So I think I agree with Randy on this one.
What keeps popping into my head is Charlie from It's Always Sunny, whenever he's doing his wild card thing, You know, like
Oh,
they have
yeah.
a plan. You know, they have a plan to go door to door and sell gas, and just for whatever random reason, he decides I cut the brake lines on the car, and they're like, "That's a horrible idea," you know. And they're all driving, and then he just jumps out the back of the car and says, "Wow, the car," and then they're all stuck in a car going
my
downhill
God.
with no brakes. Like, that's not a fun character to play with. It's hilarious to watch.
Right,
TV
it's
show.
hilarious for us, the viewer, to watch.
Yeah,
But those
the other
characters in the car
were screwed.
Who exactly? Those characters in the car whose brakes were cut, they're not having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's like no one wants... I should say no one wants, but it's hard to, I feel like, balance a chaotic character. Even if you are trying to be chaotic good, I feel like a lot of times chaotic good people maybe sometimes come off a little bit selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more evil you get, the more selfish you are.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I just feel like...
I think a chaotic good character, and maybe even chaotic neutral, has its place in a party. Like,
Yeah.
let's say it's a party of paladins, they're all lawful good or whatever. They get, maybe something, misunderstanding happens, they get thrown in prison, and the chaotic goods person's out. The paladin is a lawful good person. What are they going to break into prison? A lawful prison? And save their party? They're like, oh no, I'll appeal this in the court system.
Right.
The chaotic good person's going in there and he's breaking the locks down and saving his party.
Yeah.
But they don't have to be chaotic. They can be neutral good for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the
but
chaotic
I
good
mean-
will definitely do it. Whereas the
Well, yeah, they're definitely going to do it. But I mean, like we said, if Robin Hood was neutral good, well, Robin Hood's going to break in and free his comrades.
yeah,
You know, so like I just feel like as long as you're just not lawful, and you see that that like sometimes just because it's the law doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, that's what a chaotic person is. A chaotic good person. Just because the law doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, but I feel like a chaotic neutral person could do that just as easily.
a neutral good. Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
I mean, either
neutral-
way,
neutral
yeah.
good. That's the chaotic neutral. Sorry.
This wouldn't be an alignment discussion without begging the question: is alignment necessary? Is a defined alignment, is writing it down on your character sheet necessary in a role-playing game?
No, but it's helpful for either the DM and the player to just kind of get a read on how they may think they want their character to be. So, like I said, if I'm a DM and I see someone wants to play chaotic anything, to me that's like
So to you, that's like a red flag. You don't.
That's a cause for concern, yeah.
Yeah.
And I may want to ask them, okay, what do you... I may just have some follow-up questions of, okay, so what do you kind of see your character doing in certain situations? And I would just want to follow up.
Yeah.
And if they...
And asking,
if I feel
how
like-
does your character work with a team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I feel like, okay, well, they put chaotic, but they're more neutral, I'll just let it slide unless it comes an issue later.
Yeah.
You know? Like I said, I've never really had anyone that was, I think, true chaotic, you know. I mean, even Rakasha felt neutral good, you know.
Because he played well.
Because he played
the
well
party.
with the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely skirted the law. I mean, so maybe you could put him as, I mean, I think true neutral, whatever you want to call it, is kind of a cop-out in a lot of ways for just, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
For the
Right.
listeners, this character, Rakasha, is one of Derek's more recent D&D characters, a Tabaxi rogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he was just...
I accidentally made Puss in Boots. Reinvented the wheel there.
Yeah, exactly.
pretty much. Yeah, I just I don't remember if I said it on here yet, but I would rather deal with a lawful evil character in a group of good people than a chaotic neutral or maybe even a chaotic good. Because if the person doesn't know how to play chaotic good well and they don't play well, then it's almost like, man, a lawful evil person might just be an easier way to handle. Because, like, if everyone else is lawful, but he may just be like, I'm within the letter of the law. I'm just doing things that benefit me.
You know what's crazy is that a lot of stories we read online of these people who just kill every obstacle indiscriminately in order to complete the bounty board or whatever. A lot of D&D parties probably are lawful evil.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't even realize it because they did it because the king asked them to.
Yeah, exactly.
or whatever. And, you know, it's kind of to be expected. D&D is a combat simulation game. So killing your enemies is part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that a fun way to have chaotic be good for a party is if all of them are chaotic and they're together for a reason other than, being part of an organization. So like a band of brothers, they love each other, but they fight a lot. They often do their own thing. They would, like the Ninja Turtles, where they all love each other, but Raphael and Michelangelo are both chaotic good, right? In fact, the only one of them that's lawful would be Leonardo, right?
Leonardo.
Yeah, Donatello is probably neutral good, and the others are chaotic good. But they fight together when necessary because they want to, and because they have a lawful good teacher who they respect. But they don't listen to Splinter because they're lawful good. They listen to Splinter because they love him and want to. And it's kind of a maybe they're chaotic good who want to be lawful good, but they can't because they're chaotic. And so when they get together, they fight in formation a little bit, but they're also often just fighting they have one, each one is in a mix of foot soldiers, kind of fighting on their own, and so I think that could, a group that is made up of chaotic good, all of them, and you find a story reason for them to stick together, and they have loose plans, loose missions because they share a common goal. I think can work story wise, but it has to be something where everyone's on the same side, right? Because Raphael and Michelangelo, they make Leonardo mad all the time, right? In a story group where you have a Leonardo character, the paladin, right, who's constantly being thrown off by a bard or a barbarian. They're not going to be, nearly as happy as, we are watching the Ninja Turtles.
Right. Yeah. I definitely see what you're saying. It sounds to me like an arrangement like that should be, relationships and their reason for being together. Those are all session 0. We come together. We find reasons for these characters to be together. And I think in those scenarios, when you can, or when you have the ability to session 0 your group together, a lot more flexibility opens up for alignment and for chaotic people. Mm-hmm. I think if people are playing online with strangers, or if they're showing up to a con, or if they're showing up to a local store for an adventurers league something, then playing chaotically is probably not super helpful to those groups who are already hanging on by a thread.
Here's a thought exercise. Maybe we can come to an understanding by actually plotting it out.
Yeah.
Superman, what is he? Obviously lawful good, right?
Lawful good, yeah.
Depends on which version, but yeah.
There is no version that's not lawful good.
What?
There's no version. Oh, we're talking about the Russian Superman?
Even he's lawful.
Yeah, he's lawful good. I mean, maybe lawful neutral. I mean, it was kind of an anti-American, but he wasn't a bad person.
He was good for his people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of this is like good, evil, lawful. It's all subjective. And
well, I mean,
is the law even good?
In the Superman, the new series, whatever it is,
New Avengers.
No,
the new Avengers.
Superman, DC.
No, I know. That was.
Okay.
No,
who's the opposite of Superman?
What?
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, Lex Luthor is lawful evil, definitely.
Lawful evil.
Right, but lawful evil and lawful good are not opposites. Lawful evil and chaotic good are opposites. I don't think
Derek said opposites. He said who's his enemy.
I think he said who's his opposite.
I might have said opposite, but but I was thinking like his enemy is
his counterpart.
Yeah, they both operate within the law, which is so frustrating for both of them.
But
yeah.
Superman doesn't operate within the law. He's a vigilante. He's just not.
He's not. I mean, he is a vigilante, but he allows himself to be handcuffed if he's on trial. He goes to trials. He accepts the judgments and sentences.
Yeah,
and
I
things
think
like
I saw
that.
one where he literally sat in jail.
Yeah. He is a godlike being, and he realizes that I need to be to integrate with this society. I need to live by their rules.
Yeah.
Set an example.
Huh?
Just like he feels like he needs to be set an example. It's like just because I can bust out doesn't mean I should, because I deserve to be here for the crime I committed.
Right.
And on the other side, Lex Luthor is a man who lives within these rules, and he thinks if someone had godlike powers, if he had godlike powers, he wouldn't be bound to these rules or whatever. So he uses the laws as a weapon against Superman because Superman actually respects them.
Yeah.
So if Superman's lawful good, I'm thinking Batman, who feels like a stark, like they're still good people, but Superman's the opposite of Batman almost.
Yep.
So that would be chaotic good.
Yeah.
And then we go from the opposite of Batman is Joker, chaotic evil.
Derek's
No.
still on this. He's like,
I
I'm gonna
know.
run you guys
That-
through.
We
a
are
gauntlet.
going to get to the bottom of this.
That's not how it works. Not every.
It's not how the bottom of, or how it works. The Joker and Batman are extremely similar. The only thing that
No.
separates them is that Batman wants to, protect people, and
But
the
that's
Joker
not-
just wants to.
That's not the only thing that makes them different. They also Batman, despite owning a huge company, chooses not to participate in it because he can't stand the organizational. And in fact, he goes outside of his organization to get things done on the superhero side. But Joker,
chaotic good.
yeah, exactly. But Joker runs an organization, has an entire team of people dedicated to putting his plans together. In fact, he's an amazing manager in some versions of Joker.
Joker sitting at his table with a mug that says "Number One Boss."
Like he's not
Right?
Joker's not sitting at board meetings and like looking over analytics, whatever. Joker is
I
doing
mean,
what Joker wants to do
except-
in that moment.
Joker pays his
except-
taxes.
Yeah,
he
he's not
pays-
a
That's
not a defrauding citizen.
Right. Well, no, Joker does pay his taxes, right? But also,
Yeah.
he does.
yeah, he also, you say he's not sitting at board meetings, but he literally starts the Dark Knight at a board meeting of crime bosses, where he gets
He
all
crashes the party. They're having a board meeting. It's not
Well-
his board meeting.
Well, no, but then he kills one of them, and then he gets all the rest of them together in an organized fashion to create a plan to get rid of Batman.
I mean, the Joker. I mean, even in like the Harley Quinn TV show, the Joker at some point basically takes over Gotham, has Batman chained up, and is like running things as like the mayor of Gotham, basically.
Yeah, and he
It's all illegal.
realizes he hates it. Like every time he gets the power, he doesn't want it. He wants to just mess with Batman. Like he wants to destroy like people. He wants to like corrupt and break down. That's like his whole motivation.
Well, that's his motivation, but he's so good at he's so organized that he can't help but get that he succeeds
He is
too
not
often.
organized. It just happens around him.
That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't happen around Batman.
Yeah, he was born into royalty. He's just or not royalty, but
Well,
in
he was
one of the
born
richest
into
families
it,
on Earth.
and he can't keep he can't keep a sidekick. He can't keep he can't keep a butler. Although his
Dang, burn.
he can't his insider at the
Can't keep a
company
girlfriend.
can't keep a girlfriend. Like it doesn't just because he's chaotic good and the organization, despite all the resources in the world being set up to work for him, they don't. His board hates him. His best friends don't like him. Like he is always a loner because he's too chaotic to keep order within his own life. Joker, order just happens around him because it's his
because he's
personality.
surrounded by mentally ill people who look up to this weirdo freak. It's
Okay,
like,
'cause-
oh yeah, that's the man, and so he's just preying on mental illness, like a mentally ill leading the mentally ill.
So
Well, I mean, isn't Batman mentally ill? Leading?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They're both mentally ill. One just fights crime, and the other one causes crime.
but since when are hordes of mentally ill people known for being highly organized? Like,
I mean-
that's a testament to
We're talking
Joker's,
about comic logic here. I don't make the rules. They're just gang members because that's what they just try to emulate the Joker.
and so they emulate him into order.
I can't do this with you.
We have someone that loves to debate versus an actual lawyer.
Being obtuse on purpose, I can't do it.
I don't feel like I'm being obtuse on purpose. I feel like I honestly don't believe that he is chaotic evil. I think that's his persona. It's like in Mage when you play nature versus demeanor, and they're not always the same, right? Chaotic is his mask. It's the same as the Bat mask.
Exactly.
It's the persona he puts out to strike fear into people and to
To
accomplish
inspire
his
his followers.
Exactly. But he has followers that he cultivates, that he organizes them into a crime syndicate, and he has specific purposes that he goes to great lengths to plan in detail how he's going to carry it out, to the point where, as was mentioned earlier, he has backup plan upon backup plan. He is meticulous. He is not chaotic. He just looks that way because he's chosen a clown as his persona.
I'm not buying it.
Okay. You don't have to buy it, but you're not right.
I'm not buying it.
Benjamin, Jesus Christ!
And the listeners will not buy it either because
Oh
they
man.
are smart individuals, and I know they'll have my back. So go ahead and hop in those comments. David, I'm
Listeners,
talking to you.
please.
David, I'm talking to you.
David,
Oh
Dahlia,
my god.
Steven, when you get here.
Do y'all remember at the beginning of this episode where Derek's like, I don't think this was such a hot take?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm hot under the collar. I'm hot-blooded now.
Well, you know what? Let's bring it back to the hot take. Let's bring it back to the hot take. Derek, if you're playing a D&D with a superhero / supervillain skin on it, who's going to make a better party member? Batman or Joker?
Batman would, but they're both
Nah.
chaotic.
You think Batman would make a better party member?
Batman is on the Justice League, and when they need him, he is always there.
No, that's literally not true. Have you seen Justice League?
I have. I know more about Justice League
It
than anyone else
fell
here.
apart. It fell apart. Now go look at Suicide Squad. Now that's a party. That's an
not a
adventure.
party. That's a bunch of people with bombs in their head doing things because they have to.
I didn't say it was a good movie, but that's a good adventuring party for D&D.
Well, that's just how the Suicide Squad works. They always just have a bomb in their head.
Well, I know that Justice League falls apart regularly.
Y'all chose DC, so I don't have much to contribute here.
Well, we could talk about Marvel. Like, let's go to Civil War, the movie. You know,
Yeah,
Iron
okay.
Man was on the lawful good side. Captain America was on the chaotic good side.
Except Captain America is lawful good generally.
Yeah, generally, but not in that
He's
movie.
usually lawful good. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of went rogue there.
And, I mean, in that moment, his whole team was chaotic good, and yet they were working together as a well-oiled machine because they all believed that in this instance, the government couldn't be trusted with the kind of power that superheroes bring.
I don't think they were chaotic because they are naturally lawful good. Most of them. Well, Captain America is. I guess Black Widow is probably
Neutral
true
good,
neutral.
chaotic.
I'd say true neutral.
Yeah, I guess so. She's a spy.
Yeah. But I think that they were held together because the law changed. They didn't change. And yeah, they didn't work within the system, which I think shifts them over to neutral, but I don't think it shifted them all the way to chaotic. Now, if you want somebody chaotic, you could look at Hulk. Is chaotic good?
I mean, he could be chaotic neutral. I guess it depends on how smart the Hulk is that we're talking about.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going standard Bruce Banner Marvel Cinematic Universe Hulk.
Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
maybe even true neutral. Like I think he's just too dumb. He's just kind of goes by stimuli.
That's fair. Star-Lord is chaotic good.
Yeah.
And there's a good example of a D&D adventuring party too, right? Guardians of the Galaxy. And they don't stay together very well. They have constant infighting problems. The party gets split. Somebody screws up a plan, because a bunch of them are chaotic.
Yeah, but they're all family. I feel like it's also like that. Yeah, they fight, but they also they always make up. And they always get the job done.
I feel like that's what he was saying earlier, though, with like a set of like brothers.
Yeah.
They fight, they squabble like the Ninja Turtles. So
Yeah.
I think it's like, I think the more chaotic you are, the more selfish you can be.
Yep.
I'll say, but if you're not with people that are basically family or have that same kind of, I guess, chaotic energy, then then that team doesn't ever like kind of come back together, I guess. So
I was going to say the same thing. I think the more chaotic people you have, the more important your glue has to be
Yeah.
in order to keep the group together. And in a role-playing group, you do have the freedom to do that, to create whatever social glue you need to keep people together. But it is more difficult the more chaotic people you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree with what you are saying. I just want to add on. Randy said that the more chaotic you are, the more selfish you are. I think with chaotic characters, since they don't follow the law, they follow their own personal code. And if you have a group of people who are all following the personal code, it's hard to make those match. But they do match sometimes, or at least they overlap at times.
Yeah. And I think something we've established here today is that a group of chaotic people is certainly more fun to watch than a group of lawful people.
Well, I mean, lawful
It's more
people
fun to
can have
watch than
fights
live.
too. Like, I mean, we have, the Supreme Court and all these judges like that who sit there and argue the same words, the same sentence written on a piece of paper. It's like, oh, it's actually supposed to be interpreted this way. It's supposed to be interpreted that way. So, I mean, lawful infighting can happen also.
Sure, but that's only because they're the ones with the discretion to fight about those things, because the law is what they say it is. Once you have someone who can reinterpret the law at their whim, right? They can be lawful like a tyrant is lawful. That doesn't mean that they don't infight. It means that they have power, you know.
Benjamin, take us to church about the Supreme Court.
Nah. I feel like the episode today has been really good, and I don't want to ruin it.
Let's take it to a boiling over point. 9 unelected individuals.
I want to I guess like throw this out there, and if it doesn't fit, that's fine. You know, we can cut it. But do we think that a lawful good or evil, or a lawful character, do we feel like they have to follow the letter of the law or the spirit of the law?
I think that depends on the person.
Ooh, no, I think a lawful what kind of defines a lawful character is that they don't leave room for interpretation, right? I think that's kind of what separates a lawful good from a.
I think that's lawful neutral territory.
Well, I think that's what
I say, like,
separates
the
lawful
word is the
from...
word, and lawful good was like, hey, the spirit of it is that, you know, we should be helping, you know, like, I'm trying to think, like, oh, it's illegal to feed homeless people in cities, but it's not illegal outside of city limits.
Okay, I feel like that's lawful good. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying, like, it's illegal, like, for that law, but the intention is still there, so they operate within that law to still do good.
Right. I feel like this doesn't really fit his question because that in that sense the lawful good person is both following the letter and the spirit, right? The whole point is you don't feed homeless people in the city limits so that homeless people are not attracted to the city centers, right? And they're achieving that by feeding them outside of the city limits. They're neither breaking the law nor breaking the spirit of the law, right? Mm-hmm. I think an example of following the letter but not the spirit, or vice versa, might be something like, well, the point of this anti-stealing law is to prevent whatever, but this person was stealing something that was stolen from them first, and so maybe the law shouldn't apply to them. I feel like a lawful good person would say, well, they still did the thing that was forbidden, so they need to go to court and do their time, and we should restore the thing to them in a lawful way. Whereas the person who followed the spirit would say, well, maybe I'll look at the other way this time because they were just stealing back something that had been stolen from them first.
Like I said, I don't know if that really fits in with the rest of it, but it just popped in my head because I had something similar earlier today about the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. So just thought I'd throw that in there and see if that changed anyone's thoughts up on anything.
Well, I guess we didn't really answer it, right? Is the person who looks the other way because in this particular instance that's not the intent of the law? I don't think they're chaotic, but they probably are skewing towards neutral away from lawful, right?
I mean, I guess in my head I was thinking, like, if you follow the letter of the law, then you're, I guess, more lawful. But if you're doing more of the spirit, then you may lean more towards the neutral good or something like that. You know, it's like, yeah, the law's technically that's not how it's written, but the spirit of it was meant for this. But even though that's like not the letter of it, you know.
Yeah, I think I'd call that character neutral good. Somebody who says the intention of the law is to have a society. We live in a society. And so if the letter of the law doesn't facilitate that, then I'll ignore it.
Yeah. I also think that somebody who strictly follows the letter of the law, regardless of its outcomes, is tending away from good, probably towards lawful neutral.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I think that's what Derek was kind of saying, was law as written is like neutral law, like lawful neutral, and then I guess maybe it's how you interpret it can lean you good or evil.
Yeah.
You know, if you're following it more to the letter to harm someone, then I guess that's the way to see it is evil. But I guess I don't know. It's very weird though. Like I said, maybe it doesn't fit. It's fun.
No,
which is
I like
why
I like discussions about alignment the same way I like when we have discussions about color identity.
Yeah.
When we try to figure out the Magic the Gathering color identity of fictional characters, that's just as fun of a thought exercise as this was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something we also mentioned beforehand was...
Wait, okay, hold on.
Show.
Let me pause real quick. If the Joker was a Magic card, what colors would his colors be, Benjamin?
Grixis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Esper.
Esper. Be
Black
for
blue?
real. Be for real. Batman would be Esper, sure. Joker?
Batman's
You're saying he doesn't have red? We're not having.
Okay, no,
we're not having a real
no.
conversation.
Hold on. I can see Grixis. I think red needs to be in there. He's definitely not green. I think. Okay, how about this? I think if they were making a Magic card, WotC would not put white in his color identity because there would be people like you who would be like, I'm definitely not buying this, and they know that.
Well, I mean, let's wait till see how good the card is before I say I'm not going to buy it.
Well,
print it out on my piece of paper.
I think he would be printed as Grixis, and I think that would be a perfectly fine color identity for him. Batman.
I mean, blue can represent structure too.
Yeah, but it's a different form of structure, but I think it would be the appropriate kind of structure for because I don't think he's white because he has any sort of communitarian identity. So I don't think white's good for Joker. Now that I think about it.
Oh, definitely not.
No. Now Batman would be white because he cares about society, but not because he cares about order. And so Batman would also probably be red, white, black. So he'd be Mardu.
I think he'd be red, white, black. I think he's white, blue, black.
It depends on which one. It depends. Yeah, it depends on which version.
And his high intelligence.
The one where he's the world's greatest detective, definitely blue. Where he's the Dark Knight version, where he's
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Like Christian Bale's Dark Knight is not so blue.
I agree with that.
So I just real quick,
guys, wouldn't that be a cool secret lair of just like 6 different versions of Batman?
Yeah, everyone can pick their own. That'd be cool.
So I just googled real quick, Batman MTG card just to see what people have homebrewed, and it is a lot of white, blue, black, a few black and blue, and a few mono black. But I would say the overwhelming majority is a white, blue, black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now do the same for Joker, please.
I'm still thinking Grixis because like
I could see Grixis.
Sense of control.
I could see Grixis, but I think red black is going to be the majority.
I'm looking now.
Do y'all think Lex Luthor would be white, blue, black?
I think Lex Luthor.
I don't know about.
I think white, black for sure. I don't know if it's blue or not. Let's see. I see a mono
maybe
black
it's just
Joker.
white, black.
What is this one?
I see a black, green, blue. I see a black and red, black. Honestly, the black, green, blue. I think is the one that
What's green?
Soul tie? People are making Joker.
What's green about? What's green about?
I don't know. It's a reskin of Yark the Desecrated. So I don't know what.
Oh, I do see it. I do see a red, black. I see a lot of mono black.
I see a red, blue, green. I don't see where green's coming from though. I put Joker as
red.
Grixis because black and red because he's kind of like the chaos clown,
right?
Which kind of fits the circus. But blue because I just feel like he has a bit more up his sleeve, a bit more control than he wants you to believe. He wants you to think he's pure chaos and randomness.
Yeah, he has more control than Rakdos or Gruul do.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He is. His persona is Rakdos.
Think that though.
Absolutely. He's He's literally like his people are the Rakdos circus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're more organized than that. They're not. So I think you should add blue to them. I think that's.
Yeah, I think that's what is blue about him is hiding the control aspect of if it's like I want you to think one thing and that's how I'm controlling you is by you're thinking you're facing one monster or one beast. But there's a whole other layer to me that you're not gonna be able to like figure out because I keep it hidden.
Yeah, like he's almost Nico Bolas, almost.
Oh,
not quite. Nico Bolas is a little more like controlled outwardly.
Yeah,
but I think when you look at like their attempts to to dominate,
because Nico Bolas wants to put himself on top. He wants to rule over all creation. I think Joker wants to destroy all creation. He doesn't care if he lives or dies. He doesn't care if he's on top of it. He just wants to, can we all agree on that? Like, there's not a reality where Joker wants to, I guess there is reality. Like, I think it's probably been done, like King Joker or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not the motivation of every Joker.
Right.
Most of them are like, I want to just destroy the city. I want to destroy Batman.
Yeah. So what color are you going with? Red, black?
I'm still staying with red, black.
Okay, I can see it.
Guys, this was a very fun episode. I had a great time listening.
Yeah.
We should do a future episode about the other part that we had kind of discussed beforehand of like what's another way to do, instead of an alignment chart, we talked a little bit about like saying instead of your character's lawful good, say no, they are a follower of this deity in your game, because that deity may give you more a more focused
Yeah.
and like not broader, but like a more focused, but more well defined.
And we can talk
system.
about games that don't use an alignment system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Mage.
For that, you gotta come to season 3.
That's
right.
exactly right. For those future ideas, you got to stay tuned for season 3. Don't worry, there's not going to be a break between season 2 and season 3. Do you guys want a break, or
Give me 3 weeks off.
I feel like
We'll
we
see.
just had.
I need to go.
Yeah.
I need to go find myself.
This has been so mentally
I need to go
taxing
to.
for
I
Derek.
need to go to Japan
therapy.
now.
Season 3 is on its way. Stay tuned. Benjamin, what's our Patreon address?
www.patreon.com/mymythicalmeta.
Randy, what's our email address?
mymythicalmeta@gmail.com.
Listeners, please sound off in the comments today about what alignment you think the Joker would be. If you're a Magic player, sound off on color identities of all these Justice League characters. I'll make sure to respond back in the comments, and we'll have a second great discussion there. Let's get that engagement up.
What color do you think we are?
Yeah,
Ooh, what color do you think the My Mythical Meta crew is?
we're clearly all white males.
Oh, Benjamin.
I mean, do y'all want to just do some predictions right now
Predictions
Of what?
of what our color are? What Randy just said.
No.
Well,
Let's.
no,
they have to
because
guess
we
first.
know each other better.
I
We'll
got you.
reveal it in
Better.
season 3.
Gotcha. Season 3 is our color identities.
Yeah, well, but we already had this discussion in real life.
Have we?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we've had it
Yes.
like 3
Was
or
I
4
there?
times too.
I was about to ask, have we had it on the podcast? Like, I hope not.
I don't
No,
think
we
so.
haven't had
We'll
it
be
on
like,
the pod.
well, let's go back to episode 27 and see where they talked about it, literally.
No, I don't think so.
No, but we have had this conversation, so we will be able to, I guess, not grade your answers, but kind of tell you, like, you're pretty close.
How close you are, yeah. Benjamin, any words of wisdom?
Yeah, so ultimately, what we ended up talking about whether or not certain alignments should be allowed in a D&D party was really all about how well can you get along with your friends to create an enjoyable experience for your table, your DM, and your friends. And whatever you choose a character and a play style that allows people to take this time, as Derek often points out, the time that, that you chose, hours out of your week where you don't have that many hours, and make it where that time is productive, enjoyable, and works towards something that all of you can experience and not just the selfish few.
Be lawful in your hangouts with your friends.
Hey,
Or be
there you go.
chaotic. Just don't be.
Or just be good. Just be neutral good.
There you go. Just be good. Be good to each other.
There you go.
What is it from Bill and Ted? Be excellent to each other.
Words to live by.
There's a copyright strike.
Oh! YouTube's gonna be like, sorry, give him the axe.
They just delete your whole channel.
Thank you, listeners. We're so glad to have you. We hope to keep you for season 3. And thank you guys, Benjamin, Derek, Randy. Thank you guys for being my great friends. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
This episode was sponsored by Eldorado Gaming. Use the promo code META for 10% off your order. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This episode was edited by me, Travis Konishek, and our intro and outro music is by Tyler Heath of the Oh Hellos.